Empowerment Hour by Mr. Too Easy on WRGT 93.7. So, we had a few topics we talked about. 16 years in the Army. I talk about, how it affects me before, during, and after. I don't speak for all veterans, but it's just my opinion. And hopefully something I say can help out a fellow veteran and give a family member a kind of an eye-opener on why they veteran may act or do some of the things they do. So, of course, like I said earlier, they have a first responder breakfast every third Saturday, located at 1021 Lincoln Way West in Chambersburg. That is also called the 30 West Family Restaurant. Third Saturday, time 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. The next one is January 18th. The POC is John Kennedy, so I'll definitely put that in the description box because I don't have this point of contact information with me right now. But definitely come on out. That's for any first responder. Come on out there and fellowship with other first responders. And if you're not a first responder, guess what? Come on out there and thank them for the job and stuff that they do, that the men and women do on a day-to-day basis. So, they're our first line of defense. And, it's sad to say, and this kind of touched my heart because I have a lot of buddies that's, first responders, police, EMTs, firefighters. If you guys think about this, okay, now I'm not contrast and comparing, but just think about this. You have a first responder, let's say he's a police officer, okay, because police officers are regular people too. Usually when you call the police, it's because something wrong is happening. So when the police come out, they come out because there's a domestic violence or a shooting or car accident, stuff like that. So when you have these community events, that's when the police sees us in a positive way. Now, I was out with a buddy of mine, and he was broke down on in Mechanicsburg, okay? And what was it, Whistlerville Road? It's a road that's long and got hills, and there's no traffic lights, no street lights, nothing, pitch black. So he calls me up, hey, I'm broke down on the side of the road. Hey, can you come up here and pick me up? Because it was only 4 miles from his house, so no problem. I go down there. He says, hey, where I'm at is I'm right off the side of the road. You won't be able to see me because there's no lights on my car. Everything went dead. So I'm like, okay, no problem. So I go down there and I, put my high beams. Well, I flash my high beams, put my hazards on just so I can see, when it comes up. So I saw him. It was him and his wife. So as I pull up, I didn't know the state trooper was behind me. So they had their lights on, but the lights weren't facing me for the rear view so I can see them. The lights were behind them, I guess warning people from behind them. So I pulled over and went up there. My buddy was like, okay, great. And it was a little cold because it was a few days ago. So the state trooper was two state troopers in one car. So it wasn't two cars, it was one car. So the guy, I was already out. So I said, hey, I'm so-and-so. I'm just here to pick him up. So he was like, okay, no problem, Now, granted, this is pitch black. Okay, the only light you have is my headlights, tail lights, and my hazards on. And the car in front of me was super dead. The car was so dead, he couldn't even use the key to open up the trunk. The car was that dead. So the police was like, okay, no problem. I'm glad you came out to help him out, da-da-da-da-da. So he had to stay with the car because he called his AAA or USAA, whoever he called. And then I dropped his wife off at home. But and the police, the other officer, when I was, helping his wife to get the luggage out of his car to put in my car, they were like, there's a lot of accidents on this road and it's very dark. So we saw you come down with your hazards on and you was only going 25 and a 45. So we figured, someone was broke down or something. So we, follow behind you with our lights on, but not for you to pull over, but to warn people behind us. So that just goes to show how wonderful our police department is, our first responders are, because he didn't know me from a can of paint. We're on a dark road. There's no lights. And it's just wonderful that you have officers like that cares, because my buddy didn't call the police. He just called his roadside assistant and called me. That was it. So it's like, okay. So these guys, these officers are using common sense. And I love it. I love it. You know, I wasn't harassed. He didn't, because I told him, I said, "You need to see my ID, anything?" No, we don't need any of that. You know, you're good. Boom. Now, he did ask for my buddy's ID and stuff because his car was broken down, not mine, but that's their protocol. So, which is fine, you know. But it just goes to show there are wonderful officers out there. Not every officer is bad, but this goes to show these officers are human just like we are. You know, sometimes you have negative stuff in the media, but at the end of the day, these officers want to go home to their family too. They got wives, girlfriends, husbands, children. They want to go home. This is their 9 to 5. This is just like if one of them worked at Walmart, one of them worked at a fast food place, worked at a restaurant. It's a regular job. You know, they love what they do, and they're not out to get every single person. Come on now. Because if that was the case, he could have easily said, "Oh, do you have an ID? What are you doing here?" He could have gave me a 3rd degree. He didn't. And it was wonderful. It was like, this is great, you know. Because let me tell you something. If I couldn't do it as a police officer, I'm sorry, I couldn't. My hat go off to you guys out there. I couldn't do it. It's just, I'm glad you guys picked the line that you picked. I'm sorry that sometimes there's some bad eggs in the bunch, but I don't put you all in a box. And I don't think most people do, but sometimes people believe the hype. But there are wonderful officers out there. Same with the EMTs, same with the fire department. You know, these guys go into burning buildings. These guys, you know, cut people out of cars. These guys get people, you know, from an accident. You know, like there was an accident on the turnpike just a few days ago, you know, with a tractor trailer and a bus or whatever, and people died from that. Guys, you have to realize these people are living this every single day. You know, so if you get a chance to go to a first responder breakfast and just to say thank you, please do. Please do. You know, it's a 30 West Family Restaurant, 1021 Lincoln Way West, every 3rd Saturday. Definitely go in there and say thank you. You know, it's just, my hat go off to them. You know, me as a combat veteran, yes, I train, you know, when I was on active duty, we trained there all the time. You know, war isn't all the time. So when we went to war, yeah, it was my first tour was 2 years straight solid of doing what I did best. But I can't imagine a police officer going to someone's house for domestic abuse 5 days a week, 6 days a week, 7 days a week for 30 years. And still survive in a regular, still love their spouse, still love their children. Takes a special woman and special man to do that. It really does. I'm not taking nothing away from it. It takes a lot. It really does. I'm not minimizing what I've done in the military, but it's just different. But they deserve the exact same gratitude as everyone else. So I see my time is coming close to an end. But people, let's be more human. Let's love one another. Please. You know, give someone a greeting today. Hold the door for somebody. Pay it forward. That is as easy as it gets. You know, if you see somebody at a store that's short a few dollars, if you have it, go ahead. If not, you know, give them some encouraging words and say, you know, I pray for your situation and move on. But let's be human. So as you guys already know how I close with my song, Wiz Khalifa, See You Again, because I will definitely see you again.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
Damn, who knew? All the planes we flew, good things we've been through, that I'll be standing right here talking to you about another path. I know we love to hit the road and laugh, but something told me that it wouldn't last. Had to switch up, look at things different, see the bigger picture. Those were the days, hard work forever pays. Now I see you in a better place. How can we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything I would do, you were standing there by my side, and now you gon' be with me for the last ride.
It's been a long day.
Yes.
without you, my friend. And I'll tell you all about it when I see you again.
Tell me.
We've come a long way from where we began.
You know, we started.
Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again.
Let me tell you.
When I see you again.
First you both go out your way and the vibe is feeling strong. And what's small turn to a friendship turn to a bond. And that bond will never be broken, the love will never get lost.
That's right.
And when brotherhood come first, then the line will never be crossed. Established it on our own when that line had to be drawn. And that line is what we reach, so remember me when I'm gone. How can we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything I went through, you were standing there by my side. And now you're gonna be with me for the last ride.
Let the light guide your way.
Come on.
Yeah. Hold every memory as you go.
Every memory.
And every road you take will always lead you home. Oh, it's been a long day without you, my friend. And I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
Oh, yeah, when I see you again. So this is Mr. Too Easy, War Empowerment Hour on WRGG 93.7. And in closing, I wish everyone would pray for all of our elected officials, from your city officials to your state, to your federal, to up into the president. Because realize they have everyone's lives in their hands and their best interests at heart. But sometimes they need us to pray for them to make the correct decisions, okay? So, as I always say, be mentally strong, physically strong, socially strong, and please, spiritually strong. Peace.
55 Buchanan West, Greencastle, Pennsylvania.
Greatest Hits USA.
Hey, this is Chuck Matthews on Greatest Hits USA. This weekend, right here.
Fridays at 9 p.m., Saturdays at 3 p.m. on 93.7.